So, hey guys, what's up? So after 10 years of being in our shower, we installed this thing in 2007 when we did our bathroom. Actually, it might have been fall of 2006. When we renovated the bathroom, I put this shower head in. It's a Peerless shower head, Peerless brand, and it's a 2-in-1 where this bit comes off and you could bathe yourself and stuff. 10 years, it's served very well. I have nothing but positive reviews for this thing. The only thing is, after being in here for such a long time, some of the nozzles are just covered in, like, you know, lime and bathroom bath water deposits and stuff like that, and a little bit of mildew. We do our best to clean it, but because we tend to go away in the winter for vacation, I realized when you come back, like we just came back from Antigua a few weeks ago, after being away for 2 weeks, it gets worse and worse because we don't use it in the winter time much. And it gets really cold outside, and our window faces the Hudson River. So a lot of cold air comes off that river, and the bathroom tends to be the coldest room in the house if the heat isn't on a cold day. So I realized a lot of this stuff gets, the temperature swings, it affects the system, and it's been leaking a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it with a new one. And this just came in Amazon. I ordered it from Amazon. I ordered the same exact one. Me and my wife debated whether we were going to go with the a different brand. Delta makes the same thing. A variety of brands make the same thing. But I like the Peerless because I know I've had that 10 years in the shower. My mom also has one. I bought my mom one for her house. And, we've been both using it for a long time, and we really love them. They work. No leaks or anything like that, but lately it has been leaking because it's been sitting there for 10 years in our shower, and it doesn't get used much in the winter time if we go away on vacation. So it's called the Peerless 2-in-1 shower head and handheld in one. So and it was $32 on Amazon.com. I believe when I bought the original one 10 years ago, it was actually like $37 I paid for it. And when I bought my mom one in 2008. They were actually discontinued, and I ended up spending like $50 for the one for my mom. I'm not even sure what the retail is on these things. Peerless isn't a big brand like Delta makes shower heads and a couple others, but I'm not sure the retail, but I know Amazon sells these things consistently over the last 10 years for about $30 to $50, depending on inventory and what's available. And it comes with everything you need to install, except a few things which I'm going to mention in this video. And this is why it's very important that videos like this go up on YouTube, because people get these and install them themselves, or if they don't hire a plumber, because a plumber may charge a lot of money, so people just think they could do it themselves, but they don't do it right, and then they realize the thing leaks or something goes wrong, and they go back on Amazon and write bad reviews. And I read a couple of reviews on Amazon, and a lot of reviews, I think, comes from people not installing it properly. Now, when you install it, you need a few things. So this comes in a box just like that. I didn't even open this yet. It looks exactly like it did when I ordered it 10 years ago. It came in the same kind of package. So what you need is, one, you need a plumber's tape. So this goes in between the thread of this would go right in there. And I think you could see from last time I installed it, I did it myself. I used the plumber's tape there in that thread there. You could also use plumber tape in this part there as well. And as well as, I think that part screws in. You could put a little plumber's tape in there. So you could, all the threaded joints, you want to put the plumber's tape in to prevent leaks and to improve the pressure of the water. Now the thing is too, if your building or your house has very bad pressure already, this is not going to improve the pressure, because this might actually make it worse. It's coming from, like, if you have a single shower head unit, and then you put this dual thing in where it's 2 sections and that spreads it out, and this focuses it, it's going to be a bit worse pressure. And that's something you have to do with your building plumbing or something like that. So as you see there, this extends all the way down there. It's really long. It's very flexible. Like I said, I have an Amazon review up with pictures actually from 2007 when we first installed this. And it's really easy to use. I'm doing this with one hand while shooting the video. Like that this is flexible in the original kit. My mom actually had one in her basement bathroom that's metal, and I found the metal gets a lot of mildew from, I don't know from where. That being, it's also a basement bathroom without windows, but it does have ventilation. So this 10 years, no mildew issues, nothing. And I like this. And this is one of the things that's often overlooked when buying these kits. People tend to look at the head, but not the hose that it comes with. And the metal hoses are nice, but they tend to be heavy or whatever. But this plastic one, it blends right in. You don't even notice it's there. It's very flexible when you need to use it. And it looks elegant. It's a nice swoop. It's not curled up. Now, the next thing you need, other than the plumber's tape to prevent leaks, is a good wrench. And this is actually from my mom's house. I should have one in my kit. I have a lot of automotive tools, but I don't have a lot of plumbing or home tool. My home tool kit is very, very, very weak. So you just need a good wrench like this. Pliers, I'm sorry, not a wrench, pliers. You can also use a wrench. I'm not sure. Let's take a closer look. When I did this a couple years ago, 10 years ago. Because that's a round bit there. You could use a wrench for here because it's angular to tighten that. Well, I'm sorry, you'd be tightening that to that. So, and that to that. So you could actually see the marks from this very wrench that I used 10 years ago when I do it. Now the thing with this is, I guess my only criticism of this kit is I wish these were like notched so you could use a wrench to do it without damaging it. Now the pliers will clamp onto it and you could wrench it, tighten it really tight. But I wish these were not round or cylindrical. I wish they were notched or angular, like maybe like a, I guess you know, like a hexagon or whatever. You just put your wrench and you tighten that. They are round, I guess that's for the design, but I wish they were notched. Similar to this, like a boat, you know, I wish it was like that. But so that's why you need the pliers for this particular installation if you're doing it yourself. And in saying that, you will get damage marks in there. As you see, I did damage that 10 years ago, but you don't really see it when the shower is being used. You can see that there. I got a little bit of marking up there, but that's that, guys. So I'm really happy with this. It's been in there for 10 years. It has a nice spray, but now this bit, because of the damage to that and the age, the main section here, the horseshoe, it doesn't really spray out as much anymore. This actually sprays out really good, but the horseshoe doesn't spray out. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me just turn it on so you guys can see. It might get the floor wet a little bit. So, turn that on. Use cold water. Turn that. So you can see there, it's leaking, it's spraying out all over the floor. My wife just got a new mat. She's not going to be happy with me. So you can see there, that's kind of not what you want. And it's, yeah, just turn that off because it's getting water. It's leaking there. And that's just due to age, and it's just been sitting there for such a long time. And we don't really clean it thoroughly. I mean, we just wipe it down every so often. So it's partly our fault, maybe not for maintaining it. But that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install the new one, and then we're going to come back in a minute, and I'll show you guys how this works and how it looks. So remember, those are the two things you need, a good pliers and plumber's tape. And scissors also to open this, because these plastic things are really hard to open. Alright guys, so that's it. See you guys in a bit. So guys, I have everything out. I inspected the kit. Everything actually looks better quality than the one I bought 10 years ago. The seals that come with it all seem to be rubber. Back when I first bought this, it was like hard plastic. And I actually remember now replacing these rubber seals with replacing the plastic ones with rubber ones. I'm still gonna use my my plumber's tape though. And these things all have good quality seals, as well as metallic interior bits. Now a lot of people complain that the kit was plastic, but inside the kit there's a lot of metal, and the chrome is actually really good quality chrome. It actually seems better quality than the one we have up there already, the one from 10 years ago. Better quality chrome. And in one of these, I noticed it was in the selector. It's like aluminum. That's not plastic. That's aluminum. That's not even chrome. So that's really good. And I realize now they notched it so you could put a wrench in there to tighten it. So it's flat on both sides there, even though it's still cylindrical, it's flat. So now you could tighten it with a wrench. You don't really need the pliers like I suggested. And this is all metal inside. It looks like it should improve the pressure because it has a little pressure thing there. So that's really cool. Good quality kit. So now what the kit recommends is you install this first onto your shower head, onto your shower, the thing coming out of your wall, and then install the horseshoe, and then install the hose with the handheld shower part. Now it might seem intuitive to assemble this together while you have everything here. You could ideally assemble all this together and then with this, then screw the whole thing to the wall, but then I think it's going to be weird with the, especially with the coil wrapping around. So I'm going to do exactly as the instructions said, but keep that in mind. You want to install this first and then the other bits. Even though it might seem more common sense to assemble this all together than put everything in as one into the wall. Now I'll just lift it up again to show you guys what we have. And so you can see what I mean. Like it makes sense to assemble all of this, then just screw it into the wall there. But they're saying assemble that first and then attach everything to it, which is going to be interesting. So what's up, guys? So I'm going to start by removing the handle first. I'm just showing you guys how to disassemble this, just in case you have to backtrack. I already used my wrench to loosen up some of the threads here. So I'm just gonna use my hands to release the rest. So I'm gonna release this first, and installation will be the reverse. So this will be the last thing to go on. So this is just the handheld part. So I'm gonna put that to the side. And next, you're gonna release the horseshoe, and that tightens there. And funny enough, there's no plumber's thread on that. I thought I put plumber's thread and plumber's tape on that, but still looks good on the inside there. And like I said, this is the part that really failed for us because we don't really clean it, and you can see a lot of the nozzles are. Some of them are actually missing or cracked. It's from, I guess from, like I said, we don't use it much in the winter months. We tend to go away for a long time. Put that to the side. And then the last bit is the adjuster. So I'm going to take this off. And I think that's where, you can see there, I put the plumber's tape on that bit. I'm assuming 10 years ago, I'm thinking back to Olaf 10 years ago, what he did. So I'm assuming 10 years ago, wow, that's really dirty in there. 10 years ago, it might have been leaking from this section and I put tape there. That's why. And funny enough, my plumber's tape, it's almost all gone. 10 years, wow. 10 years, a lot of long time. So yeah, I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to clean this first before I'm going to install the new shower head. I'm going to use a little bit of mildew cleaner on that and I'll come right back, guys. So guys, I noticed some design improvements between the old one and the new one. I just wanted to stop installation real quick to point some of these out. And I'm not sure if it's going to make it better or worse, but there's some very, very drastic. They look the same, but there's some drastic design differences. Now, the first thing I noticed was, well, I'll show you guys on these nozzles. And you'll see something interesting in a minute. I'll put that over here. I don't want the new one to touch the old one because it might get dirty. So, so the old one came with plastic washers, and I remember going and buying rubber ones. So that's why this is white, and that's a little different than the one that comes with the kit here. Now, this is a rubber washer, so that's one thing that's different. Also, in the adjuster valve, it seems to be a pressure control module inside the valve and the new design, whereas the old design here, did not have that pressure adjustment control in the valve. It was actually in the shower, the horseshoe part. I'm sorry, the horseshoe part there. So it was actually in the horseshoe section of the device. So, and also the nozzle down here, the handheld part, has like a pressure valve in there. So that's very interesting. And the new one, there is literally on the handheld portion, I'm sorry, it's a little dark. There's no pressure valve in there, or no pressure control. It seems like, I'm not sure if I'm saying a term right, but it bottlenecks the water and then opens it up. So it's like sort of like a water gun, where it comes through a tiny nozzle, increases the pressure, goes faster. So it doesn't have it in the handheld part here, and it's not in the horseshoe section. It's all in this valve adjustment. So it's weird that they switched up the design like that. I'm not sure why they did that and what difference it's gonna make once I install it. Like most designs, I'm hoping it's a design made to improve the function of it, but just something to note. It's a little bit different than the kit from before. Also, one other thing, you can see how close up, how some of the nozzles are busted out of there and missing. These initial nozzles were gray, I believe. I could be wrong. But now it seems they improved that design there as well. They're much more sturdier. They're blue. That's one thing too. That's another thing too. And here, they look much more tinier and a little bit more not as durable. So that's where this kind of failed over time, over the 10 years of being in there. Like, water doesn't even come out of some of them, and it just kind of drips out of the rest that works. Now, the handheld part works perfectly. It still works really good. And funny enough, most of the times, this is the thing that fails before that part does. So you can see here, the handheld design still seems to be the same. One of my concerns were that this was always hard to click, but now it seems it's much easier to click. I like that. On the original one, I don't know if you could see how it's a little bit different, but it was really hard to turn. It was like a turn-in thing. It wasn't clicking, it was just turning. Here it clicks and notch. Click, notch. I love that. So it's a good improvement in that design. I don't know who Peerless are as a company, but they've been listening to a lot of feedback, I guess, and they improved their product, which is really good. Gotta mention, I don't know if this is important to anyone. It's etched in this. It does say made in China, but it's some numbers in here. It says 2.5 gallons per minute, or 9.5 liters per minute. So that's, I guess, the threshold of maybe managing that water flow through the horseshoe. And the handheld has engravings as well. It basically says the same thing. 2.5 gallons per minute, 9.5 liters per minute. And this is a new one. And let's see what the old one says. I think the old one is the same thing. So the old one, same engravings, funny enough. 2.5 gallons per minute, 9.5 liters per minute. And that just says M there. And some, I guess that's the model number, A112.18.1. And on the back of the top, name part, Peerless, model number, 2.5 gallons per minute, 9.5 liters per minute, made in China. So it's the same thing. So that's just something maybe that might be important to some viewers. I'm not sure. So we could go ahead and install this and come back, guys. Bye. So guys, I got my plumber's tape on that. I'm gonna tighten this. This is actually called a diverter. I didn't realize it was the name. I was calling this the valve controller selector, but it's a diverter. Now, according to the instructions, Peerless is saying make sure you turn your water off before installing, which would be funny because I think it'd be impossible to install this with the water running. And it says hand tighten and use a wrench or pliers if necessary. So, that's strange. I'm gonna hand tighten it and then, I guess, turn it on, and if it leaks, then I'll use a pliers to tighten it. But with the plumber's tape on that bad boy and the rubber, I got the valve in there, the rubber washer, it should be okay. So what I'm going to do is just hold this in that position and go ahead and tighten it over that, over my plumber's tape. And this is standard, so it should fit over most, you know, most things coming out of people's walls. And I'm not sure if you could see that there, guys. So, oh man, that's as tight as I could go. I'm going to use the wrench, actually, I think, and tighten that up just a little bit better. Again, I don't want to damage it because my pliers, I keep calling pliers a wrench. I'm stupid of me. But I don't want to damage that, but I'm going to just get a little extra oomph in there, not too much. And again, I feel like people complain it leaks because they don't maybe use the pliers to get it nice and tight. Nor do they use plumber's tape. So it's a lot more there. So it's a lot more there. I did a full turn with the pliers. And I'm just going to do one more turn. I don't want to over tighten it because I know that's sometimes not a good thing to do. That's 2 full turns. So I don't want to damage that. Ugh. In case I have to return it to Amazon too. Alright, so let's just go all the way. And yeah, it looks like I got 3 full turns. 3.5. I think I'm going to stop there. Should I keep going? Well, I got 3.5 turns after the hand tighten with the pliers. So yeah, if you hand tighten this thing, it will obviously probably leak. So definitely get a good set of pliers or a wrench to get that nice and tight. So that's 3.5 turns there on top of that. So once that's in, solid. I like that. The diverter is in. You could start installing the rest. All right. So I'm gonna just go down, get my rest of my stuff, and keep shooting. So guys, I got a washer and that diverter there. And I'm going to install the horseshoe part of it, which is the second part of the installation. Again, it says in the instructions, I'm not making this up, guys. It's telling us to hand tighten all these connectors. So it says hand tighten, but I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to just use my wrench anyway, because I got 3.5 extra turns in that top there after hand tightening it. So hand tighten, I don't know about that. So if you complain, you could do this and you find that it's leaking and you did not use a wrench or pliers or plumber's tape, then it's not the kid's fault. It's probably the way you installed it. So I'm doing it. Okay, that's as tight as I can get it hand tightening. And you gotta hold the diverter as you turn the horseshoe. Oh my God. So I got it as tight as possible, and let's see what Mr. Pliers say. So with pliers now, I'm gonna just put this in there and see what I could get. So I got a good turn now. Be careful with the pliers in this section because this is plastic, and you don't want to over tighten the plastic over that. For obvious reasons, it's gonna crack or break if you tighten it too much. So I got about a half a turn extra in there, maybe about. Let's see if I could go a full turn. So I'm holding the diverter with the wrench in my hand. So that's it. I got about maybe a half to 60% extra turn on that part there. So now I'm going to install the handheld part in that section, and that should be it. So that should be it. So that would go like that. Again, I'm going to use plumber's tape on that metal part there, as well as the hose parts. All right, guys. Take another break. So guys, the final section of this, it's really easy actually. I got plumber's tape around the handheld part, which is gonna connect to the hose. And I got plumber's tape on that metal bit hanging there, which is gonna connect to one side of the hose. And again, it warns in instructions, and I'm sure maybe people complained about this, but it keeps mentioning making sure washers are in everything before you tighten. So it forewarns about the washers being in there. So that's very important, the washers be in there. to help the pressure. Now, plumber's tape that I'm using is a little bit redundant to prevent leaking. And I'm assuming if it's not leaking, the pressure will be improved. So it does. The plumber's tape is doing two things. And plumber's tape you can get at any hardware store for about $1 or cheaper for a spool of it. And and this is saying you can hand tighten all these, but I'm gonna use the wrench to see what I could do. So let's get right in there. Make sure my camera is focused. And again, this is gonna be stiff the first time you get it. So that's it's gonna loosen up over time. And that's my daughter looking for me, guys. Alright, let me go see what she wants. So let's get back to doing this. Yeah, when you have kids, they're usually the boss. so I'm trying to get this in there, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. Okay. It's an angle, so it's really hard. You have to get the angle just right before you install it. And as I'm doing this, I'm actually having memories of the first time I did this in the first one. This was leaking a lot. For some reason, this joint leaks a lot. So, and that's why when I took down the old one, you saw markings on that, because I remember tightening that a couple of times, the wrench. Funny enough, I'm surprised I didn't put plumber's tape on that bit there initially, but I'm going to use my wrench because it's cylindrical, so it's really hard, and it's very slippery, so it's really hard to get a hand tighten, that. So, and again, I don't want to really damage it with the pliers, so what can I do? You know, just wonder if there's like a rag nearby or something, but no, I'm just going to go ahead and grip it on there. Hopefully I don't have to return this. But I'm getting like still getting a lot of turns in this. So I got about 2 extra turns so far with the pliers. And I know this does tend to be the main source of the leaks. But I don't want to damage it any further, so I'm going to leave it as is. And if it does leak, I will come back with the pliers and tighten it. Now this portion is pretty easy. You can do this here. You just want to make sure it's going to stick out a little because the hose is still stiff, but this is really easy to do. You just I'm actually going to use this opportunity to show you guys how the plumber tape works. So I'm going to come behind the camera now, and so you can see how close up the plumber's tape. So it's just wrapped around the threads on that. And my washer is still in there. So it prevents water if the washer fails, I guess, or the washer isn't effective. The sort of like, sorry guys, I'm having focus issues. I guess the rubberized tape here, or whatever material that is, like a silicone, it's prevents water from leaking through the threads and dripping out. It's sort of like a backup. Kind of like a seat belt. So I'm gonna hand tighten again. Like the chrome is really slippery, but here, because I have a better grip on both sides, I could get a nice hand tight on that. Should I use the wrench in that? I don't know. I don't want to damage it because the wrench, my pliers, I keep calling my pliers a wrench. It does scratch the chrome a little bit, and you kind of want it to look pretty. So up there, that's the finished product. It looks sort of like the same old one. Yeah, so again, guys, my camera cut out. So that's the finished product. It looks just like the old one, but looks brand new. I like it. So we're just going to do a test, turn it on. I did not use the wrench to hand tighten that bit. I just left it as is. I tried to use the wrench, but the pliers, it scratched a little bit, so I stopped. So, got the old one, put that to the side. Now, what a difference, huh? 10 years. Crazy, huh? You know, I like it. I like the look of it. Now, like I said initially, we only got the same one because we know it worked for us 10 years ago. And as you saw in my before in the video, they improved the design a little bit. They improved some of the stuff, and some of the stuff they changed. So I don't know how it's gonna work. So here goes. Beautiful. I love it. And that's kind of what you want compared to what you saw earlier. It doesn't look like anything's leaking. So that's the Peerless shower head installation and review. Now it does look like there's a bit of drip there, but I'm not sure why that is. But all my seals are, nothing's leaking there, nothing's leaking there, nothing's leaking there, nothing's leaking there. So those are the 4 joints you want to be careful with. And I used, like I said, I used plumber's tape and made sure all the washes were in there. And in addition to that, I did use the wrench. Sorry guys, it's hot water. I don't want the camera to fog up. In addition, I did use my pliers to tighten out the all the joints, except for the handheld one because the pliers were damaged, in the chrome. But that's it, guys. It works. I love it. Just gonna see if I could. So you have the selector here for the different things. And that seems to work. And I'm going to turn it up a little bit, see how the pressure is improved. So, much better than before. It's not leaking all over the place. But again, it's not going to improve the pressure if your house or apartment has crappy water pressure. Do not buy these thinking you're going to have like a jet stream of water coming out of your walls because you installed this. The pressure is fine for us. I think if you want, you could use the selector diverter to only use one section. And as you see there, the pressure is improved when you have the section individually running there. So yeah, so the pressure comes out a bit more when you just select just one section. And now that's going to be an issue for me, but I'm not sure. I don't like that that leaks like that. When this middle bit is running, this is still leaking water. And that might be a problem with the, it might just be water pools in up there. It could be a design problem where water pools in and just drips out. But it looks like it's stopping, so that's good. Because you don't want water leaking out of that horseshoe section when the main handheld section, the middle section is running. But like I said, pressure is improved when you use one section, which is good. And again here we could see, sorry guys, you can see how the selector works. You have a bit of pulse. Got a little bit of action there. You got that. You got straight. So yeah, it gives you I think up to five different ones. But yeah, that's that, guys. And we're gonna go back to the overall thing. See, you can see how the pressure sort of is shared between the two sections, and it's, you know, it's good. It's good enough for us, like I said. And my favorite part about this is I can hang my little thing off of this little notch there, so it adds a nice touch. I like that. Nice touch there, guys. Alright, so that's it, guys. More videos coming. This is a long one to do because I did the unboxing, I did the setup, I did the takedown of the old one. And like I said, 10 years, this was very well served us very well. And now it's time for the new one. There. Oh no. The old washer fell down the drain. It fell right out of this thing. That's going to be a problem. Alright guys, bye.